Yeah, it's very exciting for the team, that's for sure. We've done a fantastic job in the first 2 games against the West Indies in Perth. Conditions are a lot different here compared to Perth. I had a brief look at the wicket this afternoon. The ground's in fantastic nick, and I think by looking at the most recent scores on that ground, I think there might be a few runs in that pitch. So hopefully we can play really well and can continue this form on from Perth.
Centenary game for Canberra. First time the Australian cricket team's been here. Should there be more of it? Should the Australian cricket team play more games at Atlantic Road, do you think?
You'll have to ask me that question tomorrow after we win. If we get the result we're after, I'll say definitely we'll play every game here. Look, no, I do think it's exciting. I think all the Australian teams, all the boys are excited to be down here. I've been lucky enough to play a few games in Canberra, obviously not for Australia, but it is nice to be down here playing my first game for Australia. It's a beautiful part of the world. It's not too far from. I just bought a place recently in Berrima with my wife, so I call myself half a local to Canberra. So yeah, look, it is nice to be down here.
Michael, Lee Gaskin from the Canberra Times.
Hi, Lee.
Obviously had lots of success in Perth with the bouncing pitch against the West Indies, but obviously very different conditions tomorrow. I think that sort of suits them a little bit more.
It probably suits batting a little bit more. When you don't have to worry about as much pace and bounce in the wicket, it allows you probably to play a lot freer at the start of your innings. You can afford to take more risks at the start of your innings. I think, as we've seen with the West Indies team, they've got a lot of talent, and we've seen that in patches already throughout this series. So far, we've managed to keep a few of their big players pretty quiet, which is going to be important again tomorrow for us to have success. But we know if the likes of Gale and Pollard get in, they're very hard to stop. So we need to make sure we're as switched on as we have been in the first 2 games come tomorrow afternoon, and make sure we start well, whether that's with the bat or the ball.
Michael, you mentioned Chris Gale. Have you been surprised by how lean the trot he's had, not just in the one-day series, but the Big Bash League?
It's only a couple of games in regards to the one-days. It's 2 games. I know how destructive he can be. I know he'll be very keen to get out here and make some runs, knowing that it's a pretty good wicket for batting here. And I guess that's part of our job as a bowling unit, is to try and restrict Chris making as many runs as he would like, because he's such a big player for their team, and a match winner. You know, he can win a game on his own. So, you know, for us to continue to have success, we need to make sure we keep getting him out early.
Michael, David Barr, AAP. Mitchell Stark's been a bit of a problem for Gale this series. Can we expect to see him tomorrow?
Playing?
Yeah.
Well, we haven't picked an 11 yet. I need to speak to the coach when he gets back from training, see how all the boys pull up, or how they've pulled up after their flight today, and then training this afternoon. But if Mitchell's fit, he'll be playing, yes.
And Shane Watson automatically comes back into the side to open innings, so there is going to be at least one change to the side, isn't there?
Is that a question?
Shane Watson's coming back, isn't he?
Like I said, we haven't picked the 11 yet, so I'll speak to Mickey when he gets back from training, and we'll assess from there.
Just on the West Indies, I mean, do you feel as though you've got to be wary of them? You know, they're ready to pounce?
Yeah, definitely. They've got so many match winners in their team. They play such an attacking brand of cricket that, like I say, when they're going, they're really hard to stop, whether that be with the ball or with the bat. So we need to make sure we're switched on from the first ball, and continue to play the type of cricket we've played in the first 2 games.
Michael, Alan Border medal again. Congratulations to you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Does it get more special every time you get it?
It's as special as the first time I won it, that's for sure. Yeah, it's a really nice, I guess, reward for a good 12 months, I guess. It's hard for me. Very rarely do I like anybody, you know, taking too much notice of the personal accolades. I much prefer to focus on where the team sits and how we're performing. So it is nice, don't get me wrong, and an honour along the way in a team sport that, you know, the individual player does get recognised. But, you know, my focus is making sure this team continues to have success. I don't think we played well enough through our last one-day series against Sri Lanka. We spoke about that after that series and said we want to be more consistent, and I think we've started really well against the West Indies. So, yes, it's nice to have won that award last night, but my focus is this game and making sure I'm scoring runs to help the team win.
Chris, Michael, you spoke about Shane Watson before.
Yeah.
batsman going forward. Could you actually see Shane Watson just being a batsman for the rest of his career? Should he just sort of get amongst the runs?
I would really like Shane to be an all-rounder. I think it's been his greatest asset to our team. You know, he is capable, like I said last night, if he's at the top of his game with the bat and he's not bowling, in my opinion, he's still in our best 6 top batters in all 3 forms of the game, but he needs to be at the top of his game. And I think everybody, including Shane, is hoping that if he comes back and gets into his batting and he's scoring runs and is a part of the Australian team, he can slowly get back into his bowling as well. So from the information I know, what I've spoken to Shane about, his plan is to start with just batting, but it is to get back into the bowling. So I think that's a real positive for the team. Like I say, I'd love to see him as an all-rounder because I think he is one of the best all-rounders in the world.
You've obviously got guys like James Faulkner and Moses Enriquez who are more, I suppose, bowling all-rounders who can bat a bit, whereas Shane is, he's awesome on both sides of, both disciplines. Does that sort of set him apart from those 2 guys at the moment?
Oh, look, I think those 2 guys are very good all-rounders, both with bat and ball. I think Moses has certainly showed that with the bat. He's the leading run scorer in first-class cricket for New South Wales this year. And we've seen, James bat the other day in a tough situation. So I think both of them can bat and probably have goals or ambitions to be a genuine all-rounder, as good with the bat as they are with the ball. They're both starting their career. They're both quite young still, and I'm confident they can do the job, whether it be with the bat or with the ball.
Are you seeking any sort of local knowledge on the wicket, given that it's not a regular wicket that's used by a lot of your team? Do you try and find out a bit more about it?
I've spoken to Brad Haddon. I called Brad on the way down here just asking about what it was like in the most recent game down here against the West Indies. Hads obviously knows these conditions really well. And I think I learned a lot just by looking at it today. Like I said, it looks like a really good wicket. So, I've obviously spoken to Brad and got some advice from him.
A sellout tomorrow would have been embarrassing, fair to say.
Oh, look, I was always confident that the Canberra sporting public would get behind this match. And it's been 100 years in the making, having the Australian cricket team play here in Canberra, and we're delighted with how the venue is presenting and overwhelmed by the popularity of the match. I understand one of the fastest selling games of the summer, and I've been having a lot of approaches, let me tell you, from people wanting me to sling them a ticket or 2. So we're delighted with that response. The weather's looking great. They're the newest and best lights in the world. It's a fantastic playing arena, and we look forward to the players doing their thing tomorrow.
And obviously you're hoping that it's going to be a bit of an entree to regular cricket. Is that the plan, to sort of showcase it tomorrow? Yeah,
absolutely. The goal in the short term was for the PM's game and for this game to be world-class fixtures. We want the players to have a fantastic time and for them to want to come back and play at Manuka. We then look to the medium term, a Big Bash game here as part of the regular competition for the coming seasons, building up to the World Cup in 2015. And then beyond that, I think we will have demonstrated our capacity to host these sorts of national and international events, and that we could become a permanent part of the fixturing over a summer. That's the goal for Manuka. We want it to be the best small venue in the country, to lift capacity over the course of the next 4 or 5 years, up into the high teens. It's for cricket at the moment about 11,500, for AFL about 13. We want to get up towards the 19,000 figure. We'll be investing in the facility, looking for commercial partners, and working with cricket and AFL to ensure that it is a fantastic venue. The next step is resurfacing the playing surface, doing that from scratch. Again, to get that to be world class in terms of the playing surface, the drainage, all of those sorts of things. So that's the next step for the ground. Well, we're certainly encouraged by the feedback we've had from the players, and it's obviously great to hear the Australian captain talk so favourably about the pitch and it being a great one for batsmen.
As long as I don't get a duck.